I actually called it the bar system.
If you're an admin business partner or an EA and you're not using Navan to book business travel, you need to switch. Hi, I'm Tina and I'm an admin business partner here at Canva. Booking my leads travel with Navan is so easy. I can book flights, accommodation, car rentals, all in one place. With Navan, I really have this sense of confidence when I'm booking travel. I can make changes, I know that I can reach out to support, even make flight bookings just using my phone. I love that I can add my leads' membership details straight into her profile just the one time and then it's set and forget. And I love that there's a wide range of the inventory. I'm always finding a solution to what I need.
System first before I decided to honor Coriolis.
Okay.
B stands for ball, A stands for aiming point, and R stands for resting point. We'll see where this comes in later. All right, so a Marseille shot. A lot of terms in pool came from the French because as Gary pointed out earlier, pool started with the aristocrats in France and in England. So a Marseille shot is a French term where you actually strike down on the ball from above. Maybe you've seen some trick shot artists do this.
Yes.
They strike down the ball off center and to one side and down into the table. It gives the cue ball a lot of spin. It gives it side spin, and it gives it what's called a barrel roll, or kind of a like a you imagine a kayak kind of turning, or a spaceship spinning, a satellite spinning. It gives it that
while it's going forward.
While it's going forward. Corkscrew spin's another name for it.
All right.
So when you hit a Marseille shot, it also follows a parabolic path. So anytime the cue ball is not going straight, or any ball is not going straight, it's always following a parabolic path. That's one thing Coriolis proved.
Okay, what's the deal with the jump shot?
So Chuck is taking very careful notes because he has to win back that money.
He
has to win back some of that money.
Yeah, I wish I could. You know what I mean? By the way, what's it? Marseille shot?
Marseille.
Marseille. So I'm gonna call it the Marseille shot, and that's when somebody does it, and they say, "I'ma say you owe me some money." I'ma say you owe me another $50. And by the way, that shot in a trick shot is where you see guys. There's an opponent's ball between your ball and the target ball, and the target ball, between the cue ball and the target ball. And so what you want to do is go around their ball. And that's what that shot does. It allows you to literally go around the opponent's ball.
Okay, Chuck, that's why we have Dave on the show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
By the way, Dave, tell us about that shot. Like, describe that shot for us.
Well, it's when you want to bend the ball around another ball.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So now we know where we are literally on the table. If that Marseille shot is blocked because of the cushions, I have to go airborne. Now, how on earth am I getting a stationary ball airborne by hitting down on it?
Right, I'll talk about this, but we got to go back to Coriolis. We got to go back to Coriolis.
Okay, sure, but it's not as if I can bounce it.
Yes. So that's called a jump shot in pool. And I mean, some novice beginner players have probably executed jump shots before, but they haven't been the legal type.
Right.
The illegal type is where you hit under the ball too low and it scoops up in the air. It's called a scoop shot. Right. That is not legal. All right, for several reasons. One, it can damage the cloth. It's actually too easy to do it. It's very easy to do it if you try. So at some point they wrote rules to prevent that kind of shot and but still allow a jump shot. But now you have to hit down on the ball, and that causes the cue ball to actually compress the cloth and bounce off the slate. The bed of a pool table is made out of slate, geological slate, and slate's one of those materials in nature that engineers have not been able to beat. There's several materials like that in pool. We should talk about that too.
Finish Coriolis.
All right, so. So that's one thing Coriolis discovered, that all paths on the table are parabolic, just like the shape of a reflector in a headlight. Neil, you'll appreciate radar, radar dishes, satellite, radio antennas, radio telescopes. All these things are parabolic shapes. Anyway, I get distracted here. All right. So the other thing.
Okay, we get it. Dave loves parabolas. Okay.
All right. So let's get back to the second discovery that Coriolis found that I was just blown away by, and that's this Coriolis aiming system. All right. I call it the bar system first. Let me tell you why. So imagine a ball. You're hitting a Marseille shot. So you're hitting down on the ball. So you're aiming at a point on the ball. That's the B, bar method. If you project your cue, the direction the cue is pointing onto the table, it's aiming at a point on the cloth. right, that's A, B, A. All right, now you have to, so that's one line. We have a line that's through the cue, hitting the ball and aiming at a point on the cloth. Well, Coriolis, when he solved all the equations for these Marseille shots, I don't know how he did it, but he found a way to simplify the math at the end with some crazy geometry. And he found out that a straight line describes the final answer, even though the equations do not look like a straight line. All right, now the straight line he found is from the resting point. If you imagine the resting point of the ball, that's the third point, R. So we have ball point, aim point, resting point. All right, so Coriolis found where the cue is pointing at the cloth. If you draw a line from the resting point in the ball to this point, this aiming point on the cloth, imagine that line. Mm-hmm. That line shows you the angle, the final angle that the cue ball will head after it's done curving.
Right.
Whoa.
So I call this the Coriolis aiming system, because if you want to aim a Marseille shot, you know, most people aim them by feel. But when I aim them, I actually look at the final line I want. I kind of project that line back to the cue ball with my cue stick. I add a little because it's not perfect. There's some imperfections on a pool table. I'd shift the line a little bit. And now I know where to aim my tip at the cloth through the ball. And I can make that ball curve and follow that final path.
Wow.
This is the Coriolis aiming system.
Wow. Where was this book when I was losing all this money?
So Dave, we've got terms like English,
yes,
squirt, throw, and one I could probably understand, swerve.
Yes.
What do they mean? What's the difference? I mean, because English to me doesn't make sense, but it's very popular here in the US.
Yeah, we say
Aren't
put
you
English
British?
on the ball. Yeah.
Aren't you British, Gary? Shouldn't you know what English means?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
but
Gary.
not into terms of billiards or pool. There's no such term in the UK.
Well, Gary, in billiards, English is where you address the ball and you go, "I say, old man."
I say.
Actually, it is related. It is related to how you address the ball. It's where you address the ball with the tip.
That's right.
Okay.
So when you hit the ball off center,
normally what happens is you have one's butler address the ball on your behalf. Sorry, Dave, you were telling us how it works.
Can I talk now?
Yeah.
Didn't you guys? Aren't I supposed to be the guest?
Yeah.
You guys like my Italian family. If you want to be heard, you got to talk louder.
You're getting with the program.
Okay,
All right,
go
so
for it.
when you hit the ball off center, you impart side spin, clockwise or counterclockwise spin. All right, now in
Just
the
to be
early
clear,
days,
that's clockwise or counterclockwise seen from above.
seeing from above, yes. So when you hit the left side of the ball, you're imparting clockwise spin.
Yep.
Yeah, looking from above.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, in the early days, Gary mentioned that pool originated from the aristocrats. That you know, because the weather was so bad in England, they had to bring croquet inside. They put it on a table. The balls kept rolling off, so they put these rails on the table. Now, when the balls got close to the rails, you know, the croquet mallet, it's like a hammer, right? Usually you hit it with the hammer part, the mallet part. But when the balls are close to these rails they put on the tables, they had to turn it around and hit it with the end of the mallet. That's where the pool cue came from.
Ooh.
And for many hundreds of years, that pool cue was just a bare piece of wood, just like the end of a croquet mallet. All right, now with a bare piece of wood, you cannot hit the ball off center very much. If you do, it slips right off.
Right.
All right, so in the early 1800s, around the same time of Coriolis, some guy anecdotally decided, because their pull cue kind of cracked on the end, they anecdotally took a piece of leather from their shoe and kind of nailed it onto the end of the cue. I'm not sure how they nailed it, but they got a piece of leather on the end of their tip and allowed them to hit the ball off center now. You know, it's anecdotal, but this is kind of true. You know, that's how the pull cue evolved. Somebody put a piece of leather on the end of the tip one day, and now they discovered they could hit the ball off center and apply spin. Now I'm answering Gary's question. Where'd the word English come from? All right, because after these leather tips were kind of invented around Coriolis's time, this English guy came to America and was giving these exhibitions. And he had this leather tip on there. Nobody in America had that yet. And this English guy was hitting all these wicked shots, like Marseille shots, and spinning the heck out of the ball, making the ball dance around the table. Well, the Americans hadn't seen that. They said, look at this English guy hitting these English shots. English.
Well, English.
Side spin. It's side spin.
And by the way, the English is so necessary when we talked earlier about where you leave the ball. So
Right, after the shot.
After the shot.
Now, something we have that's become almost, we've got to take a quick break in a second, but something we have that's almost trope is the person who just sits there and puts the chalk on the tip of the while they stare. They're not saying anything. They're just putting the chalk on. You know you're gonna get ass whooping, right?
That's right.
So when did chalk come into this? I guess chalk and slate go together. As an educator, that's what's in the front of a classroom: chalk and slate.
They called it the retirement home miracle. When 12 seniors suddenly started outperforming their grandchildren, their secret wasn't diet, exercise, or those expensive IV treatments. It was a 30-second cellular hack that works while you sleep.
Hi, my name's Dr. Frank Schallenberger. I'm 77 years old, and although I may look my age, I don't actually feel my age, not even close to it. In fact, if you were to measure me on all the usual markers of aging, you're going to see that I'm actually decades younger than my age. For example, my lung capacity is 102%, which is 2% higher than the average 40-year-old. My functional strength is 115%, which is 15% higher than the average 40-year-old. My blood sugar is 88, and my fasting insulin is 4. My resting heart rate is 54, which is on par with an athlete half my age. And my body fat is only 13%, which again is ideal for a fit man half my age. But more important than my numbers are what those numbers empower me to do. Most people my age are slowing down, but I'm more active than ever. I spend my days seeing patients at my medical clinic in Carson City, Nevada. And in my spare time, I do medical research, I write books and articles, I do podcast interviews, and I conduct seminars for doctors. Plus, I have no trouble riding my bicycle around Lake Tahoe, backpacking up the Sierra Mountains, cutting trees on my property, or making the 215-mile drive to San Francisco to visit my daughter. In other words, I do pretty much whatever I want, whenever I want, without limiting myself. Today, I'm going to show you how you can do that too. And it all has to do with your mitochondria. Again, my name is Dr. Frank Schallenberger. I am a board-certified doctor in anti-aging medicine. And for more than 40 years, I've been helping older patients feel younger and more vital by improving their mitochondrial function. Why? It's because healthy mitochondria, and lots of them, are the holy grail of optimal aging. Your mitochondria determine whether you spring out of bed, ready to tackle anything, or whether you feel like you're starting the day with no gas in the tank. And it's all because your mitochondria produce cellular energy. When your cells are full of energy, everything clicks. Your brain is sharp, your body is nimble, and you're raring to go. The more energy in your cells, the younger you feel. The trouble is, around the age of 40 or so, your mitochondria start producing less cellular energy, a lot less. Studies show that by the time you're 60, your mitochondria struggle to make even half the amount of cellular energy they churned out in your 30s. That's why a lot of folks feel drained as they get older, hobbled by aches and pains, like they've been forced to watch life from the sidelines while everyone else gets to have fun. But what if you could get your mitochondria to start producing lots of cellular energy like they did when you were younger? Imagine having more energy, taking up new hobbies, traveling, or just enjoying life's special moments without feeling run down. The good news is you can, and you'll love how easy it is when you know how. Today I want to tell you about 3 nutrients